Okay, so I'm doing a load of these now. This is really good. This is really good. I'm on a roll. Identity. I think over the last 5 years, identity has been a big issue in British society. And you could say around the time of George Floyd onwards, which was also a significant spotlight on the topic of identity and what has it got to do with assessments. Again, gender and identity is a big thing over the last 5 years. Over the last 3 years, it's been quite big. Significant shifts have been made in how people want to be identified, and that how companies and social media platforms are adjusting to meet the demand for identity, and how identity is relevant to your assessment of a family. I'll keep this short. I'll try to anyway. Identity is history. Identity is culture. Identity is mindset and attitude. Identity is behaviors and practices. Identity is also connected to poverty, wealth, decision making, and safety. It's not so easy to articulate that in an assessment, because sometimes it can then, when you start appropriating certain behaviors in your assessment to identity, then you can be accused of being discriminatory. Do you see how critical that was? So you have to be careful about what you're saying about identity. What does it mean to be a white British? And what can I say about being white British? What does that mean to the parent? A lot of the time, parents don't know. What does it mean to be black? A lot of parents don't know. Some parents will say, well, being black, this is synonymous with oppression. And being white, there's just a gap. Like, what does it mean? We don't even know what it means. What does it mean to be African, Indian, Asian? And there's a lot of stereotypes, which are some true, some not necessarily true. What does that have to do with the referral is what we're getting down to. What does it have to do with the risks that we have at hand? And sometimes identity linked to culture is a part of your assessment. So what you do literally is you write about it. You write what you believe the culture and identity has to do with the risks and concerns to hand. I'm saying this, and I have to remind myself to do this as well, but it depends. So some families, their identity or their culture, their background, their heritage has direct links to the concerns at hand, because some cultures may well have a higher propensity for certain types of offences or concerning questionable high risk behaviours. Don't need to go into it now. So what we do is we can document that, but we don't have to document it under identity, but we can link it to culture, and we can do that. But you have to be careful. You have to speak to the family about it where possible. Don't just make assumptions. Get the family to articulate their values and their culture so that you can document that in a fair way. Don't assume and write that in the assessment. That would be a problem. Okay, because then you're just perpetuating stereotypes, which is unchecked information, unchecked values and unchecked thoughts and feelings. You don't want to do that. You want to have a conversation with the family. And I remember having a conversation with a parent once, and they said to me, this is normal in my culture, which was the concern. Now I can link a part of their identity and their culture to the matter of concern, and I can document that because they said it. And that's how we make the topic in the assessment triangle. We can make the topic of identity relevant by asking questions, getting the family to understand certain things. And if in the case that you cannot get the family to, or the parent or whoever it is who you're working with to kind of corroborate what your stereotypes are, then you can then say, it is my assumption, or may I refer to this study around this concern or this type of concerning behavior. That's kind of how that works. I hope this is making sense for you. And if it isn't, you just message me and I'll redo it and I'll go into it deeper. But what I want to do is go into more content on what social work looks like from the theory to the practice. When I have to write my assessment, or how do I approach a family on their identity? So what is that? I ask questions. That's it. And I say to them sometimes, look, my understanding of Chinese people is that this stereotype. Tell me if it's true or not. That's how you build relationships. Say to them, I have this stereotype. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. 99% of the time, they'll be like, oh, I'm happy to correct that. You know, let them tell you their narrative. You can't tell them theirs. Yeah, that's how that works. So identity is important because it helps us understand how people think and feel and why they do what they do. But you can't make too many assumptions with it. Yeah. Yeah, is there anything else on identity? I'm trying to do this from memory. No. Listen, this is all for you students. I hope this makes sense. I understand that there's a massive gap between what you learn in uni and what it means to hit the ground, and we hope to change that. So these videos are for you. Please share them and please subscribe and then share it again. Take care of yourselves.